Hey everyone, it's Libby from Maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Okay, deep breath. We are entering the final act. It's not even the beginning of the end. We are beyond that. We are heading for the final act. Now, I do apologise. A lot of you guys have been mentioning other readers to me. I simply have not had time to watch them. Okay, I binged on Bridgerton over a couple of nights there. But yeah, I simply haven't had time to watch a lot of readers. On the stroke of midnight last night, I finally got round to listening to Susan Lynn with her latest channeling video. I will get to Rosie and Hogarth and all the rest of them shortly. I do make a point of watching Danny Shea because I just adore Danny and I love his hopium. And I do watch Denise's Health One daily because they're only very, very short. Okay, Denise Knight, that is. Okay, watch Laurie from Way of Positive Change when I get a chance, Fefe, David from Tarot by the Bay. There's a lot I do watch, but I am so behind, so I do apologise. Okay, what I want to have a look at, and I'm actually going to grab Pendulum to start with, is, oh my goodness, Heggs up there. I've just done a reading on Heggs. Yes, absolutely certifiable. He was ranting on about how a squirter got through and that's what killed unalived 6 US military personnel and injured significantly more. No one in the military calls a breach of the defence system a squirter. A squirter, apparently, according to the military, is someone who abandons their post and is off and leaves their colleagues to whatever fates. He is very quickly losing the plot. But what I want to have a look at, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions to throw some things out there. Oh, yes, 3 US jets got shot down. Fortunately, the 6 service personnel ejected and survived. But gee, I wonder how much they cost. Roll my eyes, those 3 jets. I believe the US Embassy in, can't remember where, over there somewhere, has been hit. Oh, what a mess, what a mess, what a mess. The bed has been, this regime bought and paid for. What is now happening? They have severely underestimated, and I'm going to have a look at something in regards to that in a minute, but I do want to ask a question. I want to ask if the blanket fort at Mar-a-Lago, the photos of the blanket fort at Mar-a-Lago, whether they were recent or whether they had been taken at the time of the Venezuelan event and just AI updated. So I've got Pendulum. I'm going to hang it over my finger instead of wrapping it around. And I'm going to ask. So can I? Now, I did ask this morning, I asked Pendulum whether I should sell my shares. For me, it said no, but I have very solid blue chip Australian shares, and Australia's share market is going to be considered a safe haven. When I say blue chip, BHP, Rio Tinto, several banks, things like that. This is not that was not financial advice. That was just telling me the quality of the shares that I personally have, and not a lot of them, but enough that I was a little bit concerned. Okay, round and round is my pendulum's way of telling me it's ready for a question. Your pendulum may do something different. That is between you and your pendulum. So basically what you've got to do when you get a pendulum is you ask it, are you ready for a question? And it will show you what it indicates, and you ask it to show you a yes, and you ask it to show you a no, and etc. and so forth. My pendulum, when it refuses to answer, will literally go still. Now you can see I'm not doing anything at the moment. and it is going round and round, which tells me it is ready for a question. Was the Blanket Fort War Room at Mar-a-Lago a recent photograph? Okay, no, ask that question again because Venezuela was recent. Was the photographs that came out of the war room at Mar-a-Lago, remember looking at them and seeing that the phones are still unplugged, were they taken during the attack on Iran? Were they taken during the attack on Iran? And that, folks, side to side is a no. Let me just confirm that. Side to side is no, back and forth is yes for me. Can I ask a question, please? Was the photos that were released of the orange twerp wearing the white USA hat taken in the Blanket Fort, were those photos taken during the Venezuela? And it's straight into back and forth towards me as a yes. I'm not going to ask about the announcement. There is speculation out there from some viewers that the announcement of the unaliving of some military personnel was also pre-recorded in anticipation of some military personnel passing. And the figure was incorrect. I believe it was 6, not 3. Let's see where this goes. Okay. Deep breaths, sip of peppermint tea. I should take my own advice today. I promise to relax, trust life, and enjoy the ride. I haven't watched Cash Peters for a while. For various reasons. Okay. What I want to have a look at, I can't believe Rutte came out in support, or Carney, or Albo, or Starmer. Oh, talk about not being able to read the room. The reason why they've come out in verbal support, not personnel and equipment support of what the regime has done, is, as they have cited, the history of the countries. Well, I pretty much think that history's gone in the bin and was picked up this morning by the garbage truck. Okay, what I want to have a look at is that the initial was the regime coming out and going, oh, three to 4 days maximum. And then what happened is they went to Iran and said, right, negotiate. And Iran said, you can shove your negotiation up where the sun don't shine. Good luck. So, well, it wasn't quite what they said. It might have been a rude word that they said, but basically Iran said no. Iran said, no, not negotiating. You made your bed, you lie in it. Okay, so what's happened is the regime is now coming out going, well, it might be 3, 4, 5 months, and they're now talking about the enormous loss of life that is expected. I have some of my viewers who have family in the military, and they say they're starting to get called up for a boots on the ground offensive. Really hope it doesn't get to that, because that is absolutely not going to end well. And what is happening is that, I'm sorry if I'm really cross, I'm just really cross. I am cross beyond belief. But what I was reading this morning was that apparently the US military doesn't have the munitions for a protracted conflict. They're actually running out already. The US is running out of missiles, drones, just the way, Patriot missiles and THAAD missiles and weapons as it's what JASSMs, which I have absolutely no idea. Former Defence Secretary Mark Esper told CNN that the US is not prepared for an extended campaign. We simply do not have the defence industrial base to do that, let alone the stockpiles. The US does not have. Now, does this remind you of anybody who thought it would be a 3-day event and now 4 years later they're still going and still going really badly? And what's also happened at the same time is that Iran has activated a decentralized mosaic defense system. Basically, what it's done is it's split its military forces into prearranged 31 independent regiments ready for guerrilla warfare. So the provincial commanders have been told, do what you think is necessary. So, what an absolute mess. And I noticed it was 1111. So my question is, I'm going to use the true crime, and I'm going to do an extended, do the Celtic cross with it. Hear that? That was me poker shuffling for those that sort of don't believe that I shuffle. Apparently Israel's now attacked Lebanon. So just an absolute mess. Oh, I want to have a look also to see where Netanyahu is. The missus and kid are apparently in Florida. There are claims that Netanyahu is, actually I'll do that. There are claims that Netanyahu, I'll just pop those aside for a sec. There are claims that Netanyahu is in the bunker. Problem with that, I don't believe it, because the bunker, everybody knows where the bunker is. The media has reported on where the governmental bunker is. There's no way he's in there because it's a prime target. He released a video, apparently up on a roof somewhere with a skyline behind him. I haven't been able to confirm that that was a skyline within Israel. But that doesn't really mean anything either. I mean, how many times do you see podcasts, etc., where they've got, I mean, Andre from the astrologer Andre, proactive astrology. He always has a background behind him. A lot of readers have backgrounds behind him. My husband does that when he's on an international Zoom meeting. He puts up some background behind him. I don't, because I wouldn't have a clue how to. But there's no guarantee that I was looking at the shadows. They've got the lighting right, but there's no guarantee that he was actually at that in that spot. So I'm just going to have a look. Now my guides are telling me to use the mystical manga for that. Where is Netanyahu? The official governmental plane landed, I believe, and is in Germany or was in Germany, but no Netanyahu on board. Deception. So where is Netanyahu? Where is? So that was more than likely a distraction. Where would Netanyahu be? Where is Netanyahu? The wife and kid are apparently in Florida. Where is Netanyahu? Where is Netanyahu in the world? Are you able to give me any sort of indicator? Feel free to get out a map and pop your pendulum over the top of it. Where is Netanyahu? Well, we've got the world here. Well, he's somewhere on the world, on the planet, in hiding. End of an era. King of Swords coming for him. It's my one of my ICC cards. Legal action. I mean, he's already been convicted of crimes against humanity. The King of Swords. The challenge is the King of Swords. In hiding. The Hermit. So he's in hiding. Afraid of being arrested, I suspect. Somewhere restricted, where he's been kept quiet and hidden with the Eight of Swords. I don't feel he's in Israel, though. Restricted. I'm feeling almost like, well, we've got the Crystal Palace in the background here. Crystal Palace. Where is there a Crystal Palace? It could be Mar-a-Lago, but let's see where they go. Betrayal, deceit, treason, treasonous actions by doing this, by fleeing the Queen of Wands in the immediate future. Internally, a new plan, perhaps his wife, going on the protective defenses with that 9 defensiveness with this whoever. So I think this is his wife. Going on the external defense. Internally, the Magician. Again, another hidden card, hiding something. Distraction, look over here while that's happening over there. The Moon card, hidden, 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 hidden. What was that one under there? The World. In hiding. Are we going to get a clue as where? Ace of Wands, new plan, Star, and Judgment coming up from underground. So he is, that's what I was getting the feeling here. He's underground somewhere, but it's not the Israeli bunker. Bringing forward a new plan, the Narcissist with the Star and the Judgment card coming up from underground to claim some sort of, no, that's not the Victory card, that's the Five of Wands. The infighting, the conflict. Volatile information coming forward with the Knight of Wands from an overseas source with the Three of Wands, and then full exposure. The Lovers and sulking. An agreement. I'm going to just pause for a moment and have a look. Hang on. Well, the only Crystal Palaces I can find are in the UK. So you've got the Crystal Palace exhibition building, an area in South London named after the Crystal Palace exhibition building, which stood from 1954 and was destroyed in 1936. I don't know if it was rebuilt. It was the Great Trade Fair was the Crystal Palace. So it is an area between Surrey and Kent, a leafy South London neighbourhood. Now, the only other Crystal Palace that is coming up for me is the football club in London. So I think he may be in the UK, in London. Why would he? So I'm going to have a look. Is that right? Is Netanyahu in the UK? Is he in the UK? Show me. Is he? Oh. Five of Wands, a big yes, but the Five of Wands, entrapped, some sort of partnership is, and I put that back randomly and I split the deck and there it is again, something to do with this card. Is Netanyahu in the UK. Is he in the UK? Isn't it? Well, I think he is. There's that Eight of Swords again, which is where I picked up the Crystal Palace. And then we've got the Ten of Wands. Overwhelmed, too much of a burden. There's the Emperor. And we've got the juggling from overseas or in decline, stormy waters, and the Ace of Wands. Could be a new plan, could be a big announcement. Treason. The Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords. Downfall. Okay. And then we've got the Seven of Swords. Stealing, betrayal, mercenary actions, volatile information coming forward. Oh no, that's the Page of Wands, some sort of announcement. And that's just speculation. That is purely speculation. Anyhow, back to my original question, because gosh, there's a lot I want to cover today. Tell me about the next stage of the US attack. What do we need to know? Now, the Orange Twerps are out there claiming, oh, we've sunk all these ships and submarines and BS, and we know it's not true. It's just him spouting. What's the next stage? Well, they say not. We've sunk 9 ships or something. Well, I'm pretty sure it would be widely reported if that was the case. Let's have a look. What's the next stage? I'm sorry if I'm cross. It's just the fact that it has gotten to this stage to wake up a complacent portion of the populace as to how insane these people are. Come on down. Right, this one's popped out. The perversion. The obsessive perversion. What's the next stage? Challenged by this male in the darkness. I mean, if that's not someone like Miller, I have no idea who it is. I do have an idea who it is, but the perversion, the male perversion. What's this next stage? I mean, it can be talking about covering up, but I'm peering through the arrow slot here. What is the next stage? Landfill. Yep, doesn't care. In the past, families arguing over the dinner table. Crowning the reading, fraud. I keep getting election fraud is going to come out, but let's see where this goes. Raining down fire and brimstone in the immediate future. Where's this going? Abuse, neglect externally. The desert. Yeah, well, that's Middle East. The heart. Hopes and fears. Love. But we've got faked death, crimes of passion, and the devil. I think, I don't even think it's a fake death. I think it's faking that he's not dead. And whoever is this devil energy is going to continue with this crime of passion. And then we've got death itself. Oh boy. Okay, we've got party, the clean-up afterwards, the hidden lies, accomplice, partner in crime, and the boat. The naval warfare. I mean, lying about the boats themselves. Where's it going to go, though? There is somebody there. We have a clue who it, we have an idea who it probably is. One of about 3 that is going to cover up the orange twerp being incapacitated so that they can continue their crime of passion and bring on. But this is about feeling abused, going to bring down fire and brimstone due to, I'm getting feeling abused. And rejected by, to do with the desert. Who would this be? Who? I mean, I know MBS laughed at the orange twerp, but it's not the orange twerp. Okay, I'll just pop those aside. The one that's behind it has been, I'm getting, has been mocked. Okay, what's now 20% of the oil is shipped through the through the Straits of Hamas. The Straits of Hamas are now closed, I believe. The Iranians have said any ship that tries to pass through will be taken out. So just be prepared. And literally everything in life at the moment, as we know it, it's not just gas in your tank. It's not just heating. Plastics, shipping, fertilizers, like clothing, like literally everything in life at the moment is touched by oil in some way. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. What is next? Using the Smith-Waite Tarot deck, what is next? What is next? Now, last night, before I went to sleep, I put my arms around the world, around my image of the world, and just gave it the biggest hug with so much love. And it felt reciprocated, and it felt like it swelled up. So this is the energy we've got to be in. I'm not saying on a personal one-to-one level, if you've got people like your neighbours that are just, not mine, but I mean, if you've got people that are just absolutely horrific in regards to this and going, yay, send in the troops. Oh gosh, I've got no clue whatsoever. Just encircle the world with light and love, the whole planet as a planet. Okay, what's next? The Hanged Man. It's being viewed differently, going to be stopped. I hope so. I so hope so. Challenged by the conflict itself, the infighting. I think that it's going to be stopped. There's going to be news that comes in from overseas with that 3 of Wands down the bottom. In the past, restricted and hands tied. I hope this isn't Congress here. I don't think it is. In the past, restricted with hands tied, and it's just too much. 10 of Wands, it's just too much. Don't have the money, don't have the weapons, don't have the, The backing, you've got Judgment, you've got Page of Cups, unexpected news coming forth, things happening very quickly. You've got the ending of a cycle with that Ten of Pentacles, and across the aisle agreements made, King of Swords, Two of Pentacles, and Strength, juggling this delicate situation. Not anyone in the orange twerp regime. Nightmare situation. Cast out. Inability to harvest. Apprentice and an announcement. Hard work behind the scenes and some sort of announcement, new announcement coming forward that is going to change everything. I keep saying going into uncharted waters. On the bottom, you've got the orange twerp, Sword of Truth, Justice. You've got King of Wands, the legislators, the government, Ace of Pentacles, and treason being presented, trying to get out of Dodge with that Six of Swords due to the steel. I keep getting the election steel's going to come out. I think what's going to happen is information's going to come out and it's going to slam the brakes on it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Final act. This is where we're at now. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. I know it sounds I know it feels incomplete. I mean, I could keep going on for hours looking at every little nuance, but my real feels is that it's none of this is going to matter. There's going to be information come out, going to slam the brakes on everything. The destruction is the destruction, and it's the rebuild thereafter that will be of utmost importance. I'm also, interestingly enough, news has come out. I know I'll mention this in the next reading. Okay, I'll talk to you shortly. Take care.